He didn't ask permission. He didn't look at his father. He simply lifted a crown that had never belonged to Buckingham Palace and placed it on Catherine's head while King Charles watched from 6 feet away. That, at least, is the version of the evening that keeps circulating. It has never been confirmed by any royal household, and nothing you're about to hear should be treated as established fact. But understand why the story refuses to die, because at the center of it sits a folded piece of paper. And what that paper allegedly contained is the reason a king, reportedly, could not bring himself to sign his own order. Before we go further, subscribe. The final third of this story is the part almost nobody talks about. Senior royals had reportedly been summoned to Windsor, expecting something procedural, a statement, a clarification about Catherine's future duties, something that would take 4 minutes and require no reaction from anyone. Instead, according to accounts that have circulated, William walked in holding an object that stopped the room. It was not the state crown, not the one used in sovereign ceremony, the one that carries legal weight and constitutional meaning. This was described as a private family piece kept alongside belongings connected to Diana, and William allegedly moved without hesitation, placing it on his wife's head and telling the room that within this family she would be recognized as the woman his mother believed should stand beside him. Catherine, the story goes, did not look triumphant. She looked terrified, because a blessing from a woman you never met is not a gift, it's a debt. Charles is said to have lowered his eyes and tightened his grip on the back of a chair. Whatever he was watching, it wasn't a tribute. His son had allegedly done something no courtier had managed in 30 years. He had turned Diana's memory into a living authority inside the modern monarchy, standing right there in the room, wearing a crown impossible to dismiss and impossible to control. Then William reportedly produced a folded document, and Camilla's expression changed. Now, to understand what was on that page, you have to go back years to a closed library door at Althorpe. That's where the whole thing supposedly began. After Diana's death, personal belongings were divided among family guardians and protected archives. Some material entered royal collections. Some reportedly stayed with the Spencer family, where no palace advisor could quietly rewrite what it meant. And according to the accounts, one sealed envelope carried an instruction in Diana's own handwriting. Open it only when you know who you can trust. The turning point allegedly came at a private memorial gathering. William is said to have watched Catherine step away from the conversation to comfort a young guest who had started crying at the mention of Diana's name. She asked for nothing. She drew no attention. She simply stayed until the child stopped shaking. Diana's brother reportedly noticed, and later that evening, the story goes, he told the prince that his sister had once described that exact instinct, not charm, not poise, but the reflex to move towards someone else's pain. The envelope was handed over before William left the library. He is said to have opened it alone that night, against the warning, and broken down, because Diana had allegedly written that her eldest son would one day need a wife who protected his heart without letting royal life harden it. He reportedly read that sentence again and again. It didn't feel like a prediction. It felt like his mother reaching across 20 years to stop him from becoming unreachable. When he finally showed it to Catherine, she cried, but not from flattery. She heard responsibility. She heard a woman she never met setting a standard. She was terrified of failing. And then there was the second note. This one, according to the account, referred to a ceremonial family crown and instructed that it should be offered only when William was ready to choose love openly over palace fear. An attached record allegedly traced the piece to a private Spencer collection, so the crown had been waiting. But a promise sitting in a locked drawer is harmless. Something had to trigger it, and what allegedly triggered it was a document nobody was supposed to see. William is said to have learned through an internal palace memorandum that officials intended to restrict Catherine's independent authority, routing more of her decisions through senior approval before she could act on her own. That's the moment a private promise reportedly became an act of defiance, because his mother's warning had stopped being history. It was allegedly happening again in the present tense to his wife. Which brings us back to Windsor, and to the sound of a king standing up. Charles is said to have risen and told his son that no crown, symbolic or otherwise, could be granted inside a royal residence without the sovereign's consent. William reportedly did not retreat. Catherine remained seated between them, still wearing it, while father and son faced each other across decades of things neither had ever said out loud. The king allegedly saw a constitutional problem, a future monarch creating a powerful family symbol without consulting the sovereign. William reportedly rejected that entirely. This wasn't a coronation. It carried no legal force. It was a family act, and in his view, no king held the moral right to silence a mother's final wish for her son. Charles is said to have stepped closer and warned that Diana's memory could not be used to overrule a living monarch, and the answer allegedly stunned the room. Her suffering, William said, had begun because too many people put the monarchy before humanity and obedience before love. He studied the inner rim, and according to the account, he recoiled. Diana's initials were engraved beneath it, which meant this hadn't been staged that afternoon in a fit of anger. It had allegedly been prepared deliberately, long before Catherine ever entered the family. Camilla is said to have moved closer and spoken to the king in a low, urgent voice. "Let this stand," she reportedly warned, "and your authority is permanently weakened." But here's what almost nobody expected. Catherine stood up. She removed the crown herself and placed it on the table between them. Her voice reportedly stayed level, though the account describes real pain underneath it. She would not become a weapon in a war between a father and a son that neither of them had ever finished. Honoring Diana, she allegedly told her husband, could not mean repeating the same cruelty under a nicer name. And that's when Princess Anne is said to have closed the doors herself and made it clear that nobody was leaving until this family told the truth. Anne allegedly did not defend the institution that night. She told her brother that William had not acted from ambition. He had acted from fear. The fear that Catherine would be isolated, managed, and left to carry the pressure alone, exactly as Diana once was. Then she reportedly produced an old handwritten note from a private folder. Diana had allegedly written that William's future partner must be defended openly by him, especially when the pressure came from inside the family. Charles is said to have recognized the handwriting immediately. A prepared order sat in front of him. His pen sat beside it. Camilla waited, and the signature reportedly never came. Instead, the king asked his son to speak with him alone. But before that conversation, William and Catherine allegedly had one of their own, and she asked him the question nobody else had dared to. Was he honoring his mother's wish or using it to fight a battle with his father that had never actually ended, because Charles had reportedly offered a compromise? The tribute could stand as a private family moment, but every official reference to Diana's written wish would disappear. Catherine is said to have refused to accept a crown built out of anger, even anger she believed was justified. The ceremony had to mean healing, not revenge, and William, according to the account, finally admitted it. Part of him had wanted his father to feel, in front of everyone, the same helplessness Diana once felt when her voice was waved away. He had wanted Charles to stand in a room where every person held power except the one carrying the deepest wound. Catherine allegedly listened without judging him. Then she revealed something he had never known. She had reportedly been shown Diana's wish months earlier and said nothing, deliberately, because if she had pushed him toward it, the choice would never truly have been his. Then she set her condition. She would wear the crown again, only if Charles placed it into William's hands himself and openly acknowledged Diana's role in shaping what the monarchy was about to become. No softening, no quiet removal of her name. By morning, none of it was private anymore. One photograph had allegedly escaped the archive, Catherine beneath the Windsor crest, William beside her, the crown between them, Charles watching from a few feet away. No caption, none needed. The palace reportedly responded with careful language, a private family tribute, no constitutional implications, meaning nothing had changed regarding succession, titles, or the authority of the reigning monarch. But the careful wording only made the image louder. Then a broadcaster is said to have enlarged the crown on screen, and Diana's initials became visible to the entire country. That single detail allegedly changed the national conversation. This wasn't a tantrum. It was the completion of a promise carried quietly for years. The leak was reportedly traced to an elderly archive official. He admitted releasing it, accepted the consequences, and refused to apologize, because hiding it, he allegedly said, would repeat the monarchy's oldest mistake, trying to manage Diana's emotional legacy. Outside Kensington Palace, crowds gathered with white roses. One woman held up a handwritten sign. Her son remembered. By evening, that sign was on every national broadcast, and the palace had nowhere left to stand. So when the family gathered again, according to the account, there were no advisors in the room and no prepared orders on the table. Charles walked in carrying the crown himself. William reportedly had no idea whether his father had come to end it or finish it, and then the king allegedly said Diana's name out loud without flinching and acknowledged for the first time that her deepest wish had never threatened the monarchy. It had shown the family how to survive it. Charles is said to have admitted what pride had hidden for years, that he had mistaken silence for stability and control for protection. He didn't ask to be forgiven. He simply stopped defending what could no longer be defended. William allegedly answered with the same honesty. He didn't need the past rewritten. He needed his father to stop letting that past decide how Catherine would be treated. He wanted his wife protected as a person before she was praised as a symbol. Then Anne reportedly read the final line aloud, her voice breaking on the way through it. Diana had never wanted William's wife to become another version of herself. She wanted that woman to receive the freedom, the trust, and the public defense she was denied. Charles placed the crown into his son's hands, and he accepted Catherine's condition. Diana's name stays attached to it permanently. This time, when William crowned her, Catherine reportedly didn't freeze. She reached for his hand. The king bowed his head. Anne cried. Camilla stood in silence. Nothing about that moment erased what Diana suffered. Nothing about it defeated Charles, and nothing about it turned Catherine into a replacement. It allegedly ended a cycle. William honored his mother, not by preserving her pain, but by making sure his wife never inherited it. None of this has been confirmed by any royal household, and it may never be. But the reason the story keeps traveling is simple. It's the ending people wish that family had chosen. If this one landed, hit like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.